not contagious. However, I'm trying not to get reinfected, and I'll ask you all to just have a lot of patience with me today. Thank you. This board meeting is called to order. We'll stand for the pledge and a brief moment of silence. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we approve the agenda for today's meeting. Are you ready for the vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. I will give you a few moments, members, to review the November and December minutes that are in your packet. And at that time, after your review, the chair will entertain a motion for the November minutes first. The chair will entertain a motion for the November minutes.
So moved.
Second. It has been moved and second that we approve the November minutes. Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. At this time, we'll look at the minutes for the December special meeting. The chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the December minutes.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that the meeting minutes for the December meeting be accepted. Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. At this time, we will accept any comments from the public. Seeing no members of the public present, we'll move on to the financial report. Ms. Stacy.
Good afternoon. If y'all don't mind, if y'all can hear me, I'm going to go from here rather than cross over there. I like all of y'all, but I'm going to keep my germs to myself and let y'all keep yours. I have the November report in the folder. If you notice, the few changes that we did have is listed. The interest rates are still up. So of course, we got a bigger payment in than we were expecting. We had a new revenue come in from an insurance payment on our Robertson awning repair. We had a truck run into our awning over at Robertson, and their insurance paid to repair it, so that money came in to pay for that. Expense-wise, our internet was still in transition at that time. AT&T hadn't processed the E-rate, so we were paying for both the old circuit and the new circuit as they did the transition. As of this week, we now got the E-rate process going. We should start seeing those come in. The old circuits are being turned off and the account closed, so any credit that we have will be moved over to the new account, so we will not lose that. The hotspots, we now have a credit on account. They went back and credited some E-rate that they pulled from earlier in the year that they finally filed for. Our copier usage continues to increase as the public comes in more often. We are ranging anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 a month now on cost of the copiers, because they are very popular now that the public is aware of it. Some of our miscellaneous money, we did decide to go ahead and replace the King carpeting. I believe some photos were shared. If y'all didn't get a chance to visit King and see the new layout, we welcome you to come join us over there. We had some ground maintenance repair costs. We had replacement stuff due to the weather, because we had that drought that killed off a lot of the plants, so we had to go back and redo some of them. We had some security rate increases. There was a few others. Now the state library databases, the state was able to get money to pay for that, so we do not have to pay a portion of that this year. So we use that to help with repairing our doors over here at West Side that we would have used. The mechanisms went out, so we had to call in somebody from Shreveport. They're the closest people that can come fix it. And then we also finished paying for the carpet over at King. That was our biggest issues for November. You'll see some more increases in repairs in December, which I have not completed December's because we are still receiving invoices from December and even a couple from October that has been waylaid in the universe of the mail office. So once I get all those together and get it set and prepped for the auditor, I will present that to y'all. Does anybody have any questions on the November statement? go ahead and move on. I needed to present a revised budget to y'all for 2024. As I was completing my December and year end, our phone upgrades did not get to take place in 2023. We spent a lot of time trying to untangle how many phone lines were actually being used and how many were being paid for that were old dial-up lines. So by the time we found them all, we had to sort through which ones were being used on the security. Once we did that, we got in the process of moving those into the security system where they're paying for a line and we can do away with ours, but we're in that transition here in December. So as we move along, getting these under control, we will begin once again to go ahead and look for a new system. Because ours is based on a 2001, 2008 system, somewhere in there. So we were at the breaking point on this system. So we will be looking for that. And because we didn't spend it in 2023, I did go back here and revise to move that money with us into the new year so that we know we already had it in hand. So I had that little change, and then we had to go back and add a little bit of money to the teens because we were combining two accounts. And when I combined the two accounts, we didn't combine the actual money. So I had to go back and put that back together. And our Creative Con, we had already approved and reactivated that account, but it got left off my spreadsheet. So I did go back and add that in. And then we added a little bit extra money into the building maintenance account because we are seeing so many small things break that's costing bigger money. So we're anticipating trying to keep up with the breakages and the repairs because we want to keep our buildings nice and up to date. That was the only adjustments I had to make.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are we still waiting for the state to provide information on the vehicles?
We are. I have yet to see any new contracts yet. The contracts that I saw with the city was specialized with emergency vehicles. So we're still in a holding pattern.
As much as having an ambulance might be fun.
I'm less worried about getting in the ambulance than the police car.
I don't think they'd want either one of us driving that.
No, probably not.
Okay, that was the only question that I had.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions from the board? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to accept the financial report and the budget, the adjusted budget 2024.
Make a motion as such.
Second.
Thank
It
you
has
very
been
much.
moved and second that we accept the financial report and the proposed budget. Are there any questions?
Ms. Jordan, may I be recognized?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Was this sent to us before the meeting, the budget revision? Does anybody know?
It was not. I just finished it up a couple days ago. Since we are still doing December stuff and then I'm still balancing to make sure that everything was being moved over.
So I'm going to take the same stance that I did last time we talked about this. Anytime there's money involved with budgeting, even if it's small, I would like at least a day or two to look at it. That's just my view on that. So I'll make a substitute motion right now that we lay this on the table until the next meeting. Whether that be a special meeting or not, because We just talked about this recently, and everybody seemed to agree that we should have time to look at our budgeting right before the meeting. So that's just gonna be my consistent stance from here, however many times we do it. But yeah, I'll make that secondary motion at this time. Substitute motion.
Mr. Morgan, your concern is duly noted. We have a substitute motion on the floor, and this, would you restate it, please?
That we lay this on the table until the next meeting.
Which, until the next regular meeting, March?
Either special meeting or regular meeting. The next, basically not do it today.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are you ready for the question?
May I ask one thing?
Yes.
Are we separating the November approval from the revised approval, or are you talking approval both waiting on?
Yeah, that's what I meant, and maybe I should have said that. The budget revision is what I'm talking about, not the statements or the other things.
November, so we're good for approving November, just the substitute to hold off?
Yes, why don't we do those separately? Let's stand with the motion on the floor regarding the budget, and then we could go back to the other.
The substitute motion has to do with the revised budget, correct?
Correct.
And there was a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Nay. Nay, whatever. Okay, so I believe just hearing that substitute motion failed. Am I correct?
Would you like to do a roll call vote to ensure?
Yes, please.
All right.
He's
Yeah, let's
just, am I correct? He's just wanting this to be sent prior to the meeting to us? Is that what you're asking?
So.
Make it a little clearer for me.
Sure. So like I mentioned at the last, it might have been the last meeting, I don't remember, when we did the budget. No matter what it is, when we're talking about a budget, my stance is that we should see it before the meeting, before we get here, just to look at it. So, but specifically the motion is to take this budget revision and
2024.
2024 and move it to the next meeting. So just to give us time to look at it.
Is it viable that this could be sent with the letters that come with our?
Normally, I would be doing the sending. A lot of times it goes, I don't get everything completed until somewhere around the 15th. And when we're meeting on the 18th, and she's sending it a week before, it doesn't align.
Or
In this particular instance, I'm okay with this because we are slowly having to revise as new things come up. And right now, I'm still trying to coalesce December and picking up on the things that we didn't do that I need to move over to this year. So I'm okay with this.
as this transpires, and once you get all this together, it will be easier for you to be able to send it out to us. Like the week
Hopefully,
before.
month to month, it's a hit and miss because I don't get utility bills until between the 8th and the 13th. And until those come in for me to put into the system to go with that budget, I can't exactly put it together until they're all in there. So if it's far enough in advance that everything comes in and I can get it in, then yes, I will give it to Kendra to send with the rest of the materials. If y'all would like, I can have Kendra send a separate email when they are ready, even if it's not with that same packet.
Could it be sent over the special thing that we have? Like she sends
The
a
email,
report?
talking about the
Yeah.
email.
That's what I'm talking about. If
That's
she
what she's
sends
talking
the
about.
email on like Thursday, a full week ahead of time, but I don't have it done until Tuesday,
But you could send it
That's-
on Tuesday.
I am willing to send it in a separate email, yes.
That sounds feasible.
I got a question. Do you think you have any more changes?
I am crossing my fingers that nothing else shows up. Right now, unless the auditor tells me there's something that needs to be done, everything I'm aware of is in here.
At this point, we've both reviewed it and it doesn't seem that there should be any more changes, so.
Yeah, unless the auditor tells me there's something that needs to go in there, I'm done with changes.
I need to make I recognize you, Ms. Cox. Your hand up. If Stacy does not get utility bills until the 13th, then our November meeting is the 12th. She won't even have the information by the 12th, by that meeting for November, because she hasn't gotten all those statements in. Same thing with the 10th of December. So neither one of those times would she be able to provide that information to us before we come to the meeting.
I mean, I do at about the 14th say, if it's after that, it's got to go in the next month. There's no way around it. But that's the cutoff time.
But this is the 12th. We're meeting on November 12th.
Right.
Mr. Jordan, may I be recognized? Okay.
Mr. Morgan, you have the floor.
I just want to reiterate, regardless of the situation, I think it is our duty to closely examine money that comes from the taxpayer and at this board. So if it's a date problem, I say let's fix it. I do not think we want to practice consistently receiving money. This is $7.4 million. Receiving money and only looking at it moments before we vote. And so that's my position, and it remains my position.
We need to.
I need someone to formulate a motion. The chair will entertain a motion.
We are actually at
We have a
voting.
motion.
Yeah, we're at
The substitute motion failed, so we are back.
No, we
We're
need
in
to
the
do a
roll
roll
call
call vote, because we were uncertain.
So would you restate the substitute motion?
To lay the 2024 budget revision on the table until our next meeting.
All in favor?
Wait.
Wait.
Do roll call.
It's supposed to be roll
No,
call.
we're going to do a roll call, excuse me. Go ahead.
I can call.
Please,
All
Kendra.
right, we'll start over here and go around. Ms. Hobbs?
We're putting this off to the next meeting, am I right? That's
We're
what
voting on that now.
The March meeting,
Ms. Jordan?
nay.
Ms. Arrington? Yes. Yes. And Mr. Roach?
Yes.
And Ms. Cox?
Nay.
And Ms. Mickey?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
Yes.
Ms. Havens? Mr. Thomas?
Okay, so that motion passes. And so the board has agreed to postpone the acceptance of this revised budget until the March meeting. Now, at some point, I'd like for us to have a recommendation as to how to handle Mr. Morgan's concern and how we can get the information to board members in an earlier fashion. I don't want to say timely because I feel as though we've received the information in a timely fashion. However, we would like to receive it with enough time to review it so that when we come to the board, we can address it. So, if
May
y'all
I
want-
interject, Ms. Jordan?
Yes.
I believe, because I understand Mr. Morgan's concerns, I believe Stacy's idea about perhaps getting a secondary email to you all within 2 to 3 days prior to the meeting.
Would work.
She wouldn't be able to do necessarily the week always, But I think 2 to 3 days, certainly we can do what has been received to
That
that
ought to be
point.
enough time
And that might be,
Yeah, that-
if that would be a good window for everyone, I think that might be the solution.
Okay, and then will that give the treasurer also a chance to review? I mean, the
Yes.
treasurer reviews the paperwork, I have served as treasurer. That person reviews the expenditures and the bills as they come in. So the treasurer would have to have a chance to also take care of her responsibility, and then you can get that out to us. Is that
And
agreeable?
We've already scheduled this next month's
Yeah,
date.
we're doing it monthly. Appointment.
Well, there
Okay.
can always be an exception to everything. If something outstanding comes in that we can't handle, you can let us know about that too.
Yes, ma'am.
But it looks like the only two problems are November and December.
Does that take care of your concern, Mr. Morgan?
Well, I think it's the board's concern because we.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I said, I believe it's not my concern, it's the board's concern as we saw that motion passed. But personally, yes, even 2 days before would be fine with me. But just handing it to me at the meeting to vote on, that's what I was opposed against, or that's what I was opposed to.
Does that satisfy the concern of the board?
Stacy said it was fine with her. It's
Okay.
fine with me.
And we have, for my understanding, we have postponed the acceptance of the revised budget to the March meeting, correct? We have accepted the November and December reports. November.
December is not ready.
We haven't voted on
We
it.
have not
haven't
voted
voted
on
on
that. We
November.
have not voted on
I'm
November.
sorry, we'll what?
We have not voted on November.
We have not voted on November.
No.
Chair will entertain a motion.
I move that we vote on November,
That approve, accept.
November, accept.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the November budget report. Are there any questions? Are you ready for the question? All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion to accept the November budget is passed. Anything else that we need to do regarding this issue? Hearing none, we're going to move on to our director's report. Ms. Harper.
Thank you. I have a relatively brief report today. Several of the items have already been mentioned or will be mentioned by others, so I will just go over them very quickly. As you all know, our King Branch now has new carpet and has been rearranged. I am very pleased with the way that it turned out. This new carpet is tile so that sections can be removed rather than having to remove the entire thing and replace it. You can remove small sections, which is far cheaper and also would not require the kinds of shutdowns that we had to do this time. The shutdown was more brief than we had initially projected, which was excellent, and that was due to the good work of our facilities, Ms. Lene Mouton, and all of the folks over at our King Branch, the branch manager, Letitia Hinton, and all of the staff there, being very on top of things and moving things as needed so that the different sections could get done quickly. So I was very pleased with that. The IT annex has a new roof, thankfully. I know Ms. Primo is very happy about that because they were experiencing some water intrusion. The roof was quite old and it was not angled. It actually had a lip, which I'm uncertain why anyone would do this, but it had a small lip around the edges, so water actually was retaining in the roof. causing damage. And, we live in Louisiana, there's rain. So that has been repaired, and thankfully, we now have some angle to that roof, so water will drain instead of hold up there and stagnate. Our signage has been replaced at all of our branches. The signs are now accurate and they are consistent in their formatting and design, so that's good. The Huey Delmont Trust donated a parcel of land to us that we're going to look at utilizing in the future. It is the empty parcel that is directly in front of the Huey Delmont house. They actually donated it to the police jury for use by the library because, as you all know, we cannot hold property. Sir?
Across the street there?
Yes, sir. That empty lot that's right across the street from HGH. Yes,
Just
sir.
curious.
Yes, sir. It's a nice piece. It's got a mature oak trees. It's very pretty. The Martin branch is working with LCU for a design of their children's area ceiling. That is going to be coming up in the next few months. We are still looking at the procedures organization. We are looking at all of the things that are missing in there right now and trying to pull information. So it is a slow but steady process. We are going to get these done so that we have comprehensive desk manuals are what the end goal of that project is. And it's one of those projects we work on a little bit at a time. So it's going, but going slowly. The Louisiana Library Association annual conference is slated for March the 10th through the 12th in Shreveport. If any of you are interested in attending, let me know. We are going to be sending a few staff members, and I am going to be presenting on how to plan staff days and staff professional development opportunities. So that's coming up. And then, of course, very important, make sure that you get your ethics and sexual harassment training done as soon as possible. You should have received, I believe, the initial email regarding the sexual harassment training. If not, let us know. You have not? Okay. We'll make sure that gets forwarded to you. And then you're just going to get those completed as soon as you can and forward the certificates on to Kendra as you do every year. Any questions, concerns?
I believe all of the maintenance issues
Yes.
had to do with the weather.
Thank you. Yes, all of the maintenance issues, of course, I prepared that report before all of those issues cropped up. All of the maintenance issues have been remedied. Again, thankful for our facilities team. Because we have a proactive facilities team and reliable direct services staff, we are able to get things like that taken care of quickly and without a lot of purchase of outside services, we are very, very fortunate. Not every library has that. They were able to get everything off the floors. They were able to get the computers up. They actually, the folks out at Heinston were catching water in trash cans and trash bag lined crates so as to prevent further damage, and they prevented quite a bit of water until everything could be shut off from getting out more so into the floor. So they went above and beyond. So yes, everything is now, carpets are shampooed, the repairs have been made to the pipes. Everything is fine, and we're able to have some events coming up at McDonald Branch in Glenmora, so everything is good.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, we move on to our direct services report. Ms. Newton.
Good afternoon to everyone. I know that Kendra placed a flyer by your folder just for last minute for you to know about Kimberly Willis Holt. She's a native of Forest Hill. She's going to be at our McDonald Branch on Thursday. What's special about this time for her is she'll be celebrating 25 years of her book, My Louisiana Sky. And it brings some memories for me because in my former life, she was one of our first authors to come
It'd be at the bookstore. So she's going to be at McDonald Branch, so if you have time or you can share with someone, it is on Thursday at 5 p.m. And pretty much that's all I have for you. I will just propose this question for you because there are several that end up talking about some of the areas of my duties. So if there's anything special you would like to hear from Direct Services for the board meeting, just at some point drop me an email, let me know. I thought about I could highlight a branch every board meeting and talk about the staff and what they're doing at their branch. But if you have something specific that you would like to hear about that's going on besides the maintenance and carpet changes and redoing all of those things and training and all new evaluation forms and all of that, just let me know and we can share that with you this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mouton. Ms. Brown, you have the next item on the agenda, the Human Resources Report.
Okay, it's very briefly, just, we need to ratify Marina Brazil. She is one of our new hires that came in 6 months ago, so it is time for us to ratify her.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I so move we ratify Marina Brazil.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded that we ratify the placement of Miss Marina Brazil. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion for ratification passes. Ms. Kirby, will you give us the programming and outreach report?
Sure. So obviously we have our regular slate of programs coming up. December is always a lighter month program-wise. I mean, we have our regular things, but we tend to find a lot of people are traveling and don't come out as much, so we don't have the kind of massive amount. But right now we have all of our regular programs going on. Tara is doing well with, if you've never been doing As Young as You Feel Day, those are so much fun. It's bingo and food, and it's at almost every branch now. That's a great thing. Craig right now with the teens is doing something, Could You Beat a World Record? And so they found a few now they're not actually reporting this to the Guinness. We've told people you're not going to get anything, but they want to see if they can beat some different world records. We did have a couple of teens that came very close to beating the world record of putting a Mr. Potato Head together blindfolded, which is 15 seconds. So they came very close. Like within a second, yeah. And how many saltines can you eat? I mean, they've had a great time. So Craig's actually, I think, in Heinzton right now, breaking some world records with those children. Victoria has her regular slate of STEAM and STEM programming with the kids, as well as art classes. Karen has so many things going on, and Sandy's going to talk about one of those, actually one of her bigger events happening, but tons of things happening in the programming department. We do actually have a partnership this year with the LSUA, the STEM Center and LSUA Ag Center. They've given us some grants to do more STEM programming than we even did last year. We have some grant money that they're partnering with us to, we'll happily let them spend here so that they can have their programs with us. But yeah, we have full slate of programs happening, and obviously continuing to go to community events. We have things, a lot of weekends. I think tomorrow Craig and I are going to Leslie Moore. He's going to be Pete the Cat to encourage the pre-K kids to meet their AR goal. So we always have those types of things going on as well. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kirby. Ms. Primo, you ready for the IT report?
I'll just stand here if that's okay. Yeah. So I'll follow up with something that Carla was talking about as far as the STEM or STEAM courses. It seems that we are doing a lot more of computer type courses with coding and Scratch. And so one of the things that I'm doing this year is getting laptops for McDonald's. They're one of our branches that does not have laptops. So like last year, we did a few classes out there and had to bring in laptops. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got those ordered. And in fact, Brittany is teaching some of the coding classes and computer classes for kids, and she was out at Robertson today teaching that, and I even received some pictures from Shane, the branch manager. Look what Brittany's doing. It's so much fun to see all of that. And Samantha, who is our other trainer, she teaches more of the adult classes, and she's going to offer some new classes this year, including not only Google Docs, but Google Sheets and Google Slides. So just new stuff that we know that the patrons are interested in, because it's new things that we want to just keep changing. And then some other news with ILS, we will finally be able to attend the Innovative Users Group Conference in Detroit. In fact, Trina's here, and she's going to be one that will get to go. And we haven't been in person since, I think, 2019. So we've attended several remotely, but this will be the first one since 2019. So we're very excited about being able to attend. It's just, we get a lot out of it. The last thing I have, I just wanted to mention about the telehealth stations. We added 3 more, and those are all in place now, so at all of the branches except Main and West Side. So, but that's all I have. You don't have any questions for me?
Are the laptops for checkout or only used at the branch?
These will be for in-house, yes.
Right.
Okay.
We
Thank
do
you.
have laptops for checkout, but these are specifically for the classes and in-house use.
Well, I knew we had them for checkout at some of the branches. I just
Yeah.
wasn't sure if they were.
Yeah, not all the laptops that we have for classes at all of the branches, they can be checked out in-house. It's hard for us to let those go because they use so much, so. All right.
And they don't always come back.
And they don't come back the way we give
Yes.
them.
Yes.
That's the big
Yes.
problem.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
Ms. Buller, will you give us the public relations report, please?
Good afternoon. Y'all all received a copy of our Save the Date. Y'all should be receiving these in the mail as well. We've also just mailed these Save the Dates out to about 160 important people, and that we'll talk more about, but we're really excited that Karen Simmons, and thankfully to the help of Mr. Thomas here, we have created the African American Cultural and Heritage Center at our Martin Luther King branch. We're having the grand opening for the center on February 24th at 11. We hope all of y'all can make it. At the grand opening, we're going to be unveiling 13 portraits of local as in they're from Cenla at some point, if they don't live here anymore, honorees who have made a significant difference in their communities and in the world. And they were created by 6 world-renowned artists that Mr. Thomas thankfully found to commission these for us to put in this gallery. We're also going to have in the center different displays that we hope that we can grow this African American Culture and Heritage Center into something larger with donations from the community and people from all over Cenla to have a place for us to come and celebrate and honor African American culture and heritage and people in our area who have made a difference, African American people. So Save the Dates, been mailed out. We mailed it out to the artists and their families, to the honorees and their families to come to the event and the grand opening. To local media, to local dignitaries, to all of you guys. And so I have more of these, and so y'all have one, but if you have people, other boards you're on, other organizations you're on, and you think there are some people that would really enjoy this and should be a part of it, I have more of these. But if you can pass out for us, you're very welcome to get some from me. I wasn't going to give them to y'all in case y'all didn't need them, but we're really excited about this. And we're very grateful to Mr. Thomas because Karen had come up with this idea, but he really has been integral in helping us find these artists and create these paintings and take our first step into this wonderful thing. I think that's going to make a huge difference for the community and for the library and for our Martin Luther King branch. So we've been busy doing a lot of work for this to make this a really, really big deal. A lot of public relations, a lot of marketing. So I want y'all to come out and check it out. And that's really all I have to say. We're just doing all the regular stuff. Radio, TV, Vega, digital online calendar, all kind of stuff, you know, publicizing all our library events. But any questions for me? Anybody? Mr. Thomas, would you like to say anything about the event? I didn't speak as eloquently as you do about it.
Well, it's kind of premature right now, but it's an exciting thing. And I was blessed to, I guess I'm the oldest one of the group, they call it the Godfather. But anyway, I was able to get 6 of world-renowned artists, master artists, who are talented in a different, a lot of venues, mediums, but they are especially in this portrait painting. And they are the international guys from all over the country. And I was blessed to talk with them almost every night to convince them, because many of them say, okay, what kind of grant do you have? What kind of monetary compensation? Do you expect me to come from Chicago there free? And so after some dialogue, they did agree that this was a worthy cause. And it certainly is something that I think will stimulate and innovate our young people to maybe want to get into one of those professions. But it's also good for the community.
It is.
And we're going back to 1955, some of these individuals who picked cotton, worked at the chicken poultry place and all those, because this was a small area during that time. And they went on to achieve exceptional things. I'll call one name Jewel Prestidge. She finished Peabody High School in 1954. And she went to Howard University, became the first African-American woman, female, to get a PhD from there. And she wanted to do exceptional things around the world. And so those are the type of individuals we are initially recognized for their contributions to society and also to America as a whole, because they're internationally recognized as well. So it's going to be a great occasion, and I feel good that we're able to get those artists to do this. That this is something very special, very unique. And so you want to meet someone famous other than me, you have to come out.
Are any of the artists coming?
Yeah, we have one from North Carolina is coming, 3 from Houston, 1 from Chicago, and I think 1 is from New York is still planning to come in attendance. All these exceptional guys.
And with no compensation.
No compensation.
That's fabulous.
Well, I did have to paint a portrait of one of them grandchild that offered them to come. Yeah, no compensation at all.
Yeah, right.
This price-wise, they're up there, starting at $2,500 to $5,000 a work. So.
Again, this wouldn't be possible without Mr.
That's
Thomas.
awesome. Yes,
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you, Ms. Buller and
Okay,
Mr.
and I have to
Thomas.
save the dates if y'all need some. Pass out.
The next item on the agenda is old business. Is there any old business? Hearing none, we move to item 15, which is new business. And the director's review is the first subsection. Mr. Morgan, I believe you chaired that committee. I will cede the floor to you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jordan. Personnel Committee met and we reviewed the director evaluations. Ms. Reach Harper averaged out the board scores were exceeds expectations, and she received a meets expectations range from the staff, but it was the very highest point in the meets expectation range. Her contract requires that she gets a 3 to 6% raise per year, and she requested that it be the minimum 3%. And so the Personnel Committee is advising the board to approve that and approve the evaluations. One thing for the committee, after the committee meeting, Ms. Brown and I realized that the math was off about $6 on the salary, so we just need your signatures again on that form. But that's all I have to share about the Personnel Committee, so you can take it, Ms. Jordan.
So you have a recommendation for the boards?
Right, recommendation to approve the evaluations and the 3% raise on the contract.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I so move we accept the evaluation and the rate.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we accept the evaluation and raise for the director. Are there any questions? Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. We have the implementation guide for new cards, for new policies. And this has to do with meeting the act that was signed into law. So, Ms. Reese Harper, would you help us review this, please?
Absolutely. And as you'll see, there are a few dates. This was, of course, submitted before the January 18th meeting, so there are a few of the January dates that need to be tweaked just a bit. However, the overall timeline will remain the same. We have already begun work on this, where we are looking at, this is actually not just my work product. We have a group of staff members who met together from our ILS department, from direct services, from our outreach department in order to figure out how to best, and from PR to make this best roll out smoothly to all of our community. And so we have already completed the preparation of our ILS system. And when I say we, I actually mean Ms. Trina Kirk, who is sitting right there. She has prepared our ILS system for that, with the designation of the new card types, the new item types, the new applications, which you all had approved at last month's meeting. So those things have already been done. The groundwork is laid. The new spine labels deemed sexually explicit would, for those items deemed sexually explicit, would have restricted on the spine label. And then we would go forward with, once we get those, any items that the board deems that way after a reconsideration form with the process that's already been approved, those would be labeled with such physically, and they would be labeled in the catalog with that distinction, so that any individual who is a juvenile would not be able to check them out even if they went to one of the self-checkout kiosks. It would be blocked. So that back of the house implementation is just ready for a trigger. Ms. Kirk has already set that up. The new policies on the website and updated internally, of course, because everything got moved back a bit, this would be at the end of the month. And then, of course, the design of the publicity materials for the new juvenile cards would go from the end of this month into probably mid-February now. Everything else with the timing, the training of the staff for the ILS, since this is just being approved now, that would be bumped down a little bit by approximately a week. And then beginning of publicity would still happen on or about February the 12th. These dates are not necessarily hard and fast. The most important dates are that on March 1st, and these will stay the same, on March 1st, the new card applications and cards will be available at all the branches. And then on June the 1st, which is the actual deadline when implementation is supposed to begin, or must begin rather. All of the juvenile cards will expire, which will necessitate a visit to the library and completion of the new card application, which will make sure that all of the parents are not only aware, but that they have to follow through with getting that taken care of. We do have another option that if you all prefer, we could have all juvenile cards on that date revert to the most restrictive card level until a new card application is created. I would prefer parents be required to make that selection on their own.
Yeah.
But that's
Yes.
just my feeling. I want to get your feelings. So it seems that, okay, I will X that out because that's just an option. And then the new card features are going to be the new cards for juveniles. That way, we had initially said we were going to put stickers on them. Stickers peel, they fade, they can be easily removed or tampered with. These cards for juveniles will be attractive and obvious. So that way, whenever a staff member receives one of them to complete a checkout, they will automatically know that is a juvenile card. And also, having that is something fun and new, and we can publicize that as advantageous to the kids and something they can enjoy for the family. So that is possible as well. I'm seeing if there are any other. Everything else is just the implementation with the procedures, and the new juvenile card applications are going to be available at all branches. They're going to be downloadable on our website. They're going to be linked in our releases, distributed at events. Same thing as we're doing now. There is now an area as well that is in gray that is for staff members to utilize so that they can demarcate what the coding and all of those kind of things and do the checks like we normally do. And then the new procedure regarding the request for reconsideration, that implementation as well is going into effect, which means that all portions of the form have to be completed for it to be considered. The really important part is contact information has to be provided, because there's no way for us to get back with the people who submitted if they don't complete the contact information. All the forms are going to go to me and then be forwarded to the president and the chair of the reconsideration committee if they are demarcated with sexually explicit, and then all of those other materials will be forwarded on to the reconsideration of materials committee solely. So those are just the things that we've already approved putting legs to them, and like kind of a timeline of how we're going to put legs. So are there any questions?
So we are pretty much on target with the dates that are here, other than the issues with us having to delay today's
Yeah,
meeting.
there's about I would say probably a week to a week and a half, maybe a delay that we need to work into those dates, which I mean a lot of them are date ranges, so we have some wiggle room. The two important dates are that March 1st and June 1st dates, because those are when the new card applications and the cards are going to be available, and then when the juvenile cards will all expire. Those are really the two hard dates that we need to look at, and everything else is preparation for that. So March 1 is whenever everything is going to be going to the public. Publicity for it will be occurring in mid-February. Questions, concerns?
If there are no further questions, the chair will entertain a motion to accept this implementation guide.
I so move we accept the implementation timeline for the new policies.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the implementation guide with the timelines. Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We're going to move on to a discussion of the Johnson Branch contract. Ms. Reese Harper, please.
Okay. And Ms. Dubrock can weigh in on this as well. As you recall, last year, instead of having, this is just a discussion, as of last year, instead of having the 3-year contract renewal, because at that time, there were some air quality concerns regarding the branch and the facility the branch is within, we decided to instead have a 1-year contract with the same terms we previously had. I'm asking you all because they have, they went forward with getting an air cleaning service and getting vents cleaned and have done some other work. They are also looking at repairing roofs, repaired the roofs and working on some ceiling repairs currently. So they have been on top of trying to get those things done. I'm in talks with them of maybe making this systematic cleaning of, an annual thing of coming in and doing air quality checks just to ensure it's issues that are with old buildings, those things happen. But I wanted to talk to you all before I went forward with this, with going ahead and signing in early, actually in late February, signing for us to continue the other 2 years of that 3-year contract. Because the standard contract is the 3 years. Last year we just did a year because we had the air quality concerns, but they brought in Stamatic, did testing, everything turned out okay. They did the cleaning of the vents. So are you all okay with us going ahead and approving that additional 2 years?
This is the branch in LeCount, right?
Yes, ma'am, at the old LeCount High School.
And it did have a strong
A musty odor.
musty mildew, and
Yeah.
that's been taken care of.
It has. It has. They did go in and they did the testing. I know the last few times I've gone in there that the air has been, it has smelled better. That smell has not been, in an old building, you're always going to have areas with a bit of a musty odor. That's just the nature of it, but it has improved, and they did testing and there was nothing found.
How much of the roof has been completed?
I believe most of the roof has been completed. They were at like around the 75% mark for the sections, and they were looking at completion of the full thing before the end of this year, of those repairs. Because those typically affect the higher levels, but those problems and the air circulation problems then makes its way down to the lower floor, which is where we are.
That area is very important to those people. That library is very special.
It is.
And I really feel like that we need to go ahead and stay with them as long as they've gotten things improved. I really feel like that's an important aspect of that community. They need that. They really do.
And
Oh, sorry. May I ask, is the Johnson branch requesting a longer contract, or are they okay with the 2-year contract?
I believe they would be fine with the 2-year, just the completion of the typical 3, to go ahead and sign that for the 2.
And would the board get to see the final copy of the lease before it's signed, or are we giving you permission to move?
It would be giving me permission to go ahead with the standard.
Okay. Is that typical for leases? The board doesn't have to approve leases?
Whenever there's a renewal, typically yes, but this isn't really a renewal. We had just put it forward the year, did the 1 year sort of on a probationary basis because of the situation last year. So this is just going ahead and approving to continue on for the other 2.
Okay, I'm okay with that, but if there was an issue that came up before the signing of the lease, we could still bring it before the board?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, and I would. And because these initial issues, I brought them to the board because of the concerns from the public and from the staff. And of course, we've been working on building a relationship with the LeCount High School Corporation, the people who are on that foundation, and working together to find some solutions to some of those issues and looking at how to best remedy the concerns that we have, because there still are some remaining concerns and we're just following up with them.
And this is the only branch that still has a lease, correct?
Yes.
That's-
There
that's
is
not-
remaining, well, there's
Some
remaining,
of the remaining on boys.
Boys.
I know we
Yes.
still have the.
But the
issue
only
with boys,
active.
but Yes,
Yes,
that's
but
the
the only
only
active
one.
building.
Yes.
Yes.
it is the only active, but we do, of course, have those remaining, that remaining time that was on the Boyce one. That I unfortunately have not been able to get us out of. I've tried, oh gosh, y'all, I've tried.
The chair will entertain a motion to accept the proposal for the 2-year lease.
I so move that we accept that proposal for the 2-year lease for LeCount High School Library.
I'll say.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the proposal for the lease for that branch. Are you ready for the question? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, we need to look at the dates for the regular meetings of the board, which you should have in your packet. Now, these were the proposed dates, and of course, we obviously had to change the January 16th one because of the weather issues. So if we could correct that one. And is 3:30 still an acceptable time for the board members? I see heads nodding, so unless someone has any other questions,
Well, I think like Ms. Cox said, we've got to look at the November 12th and December 10th.
Yes.
Those are too early.
yes.
We wouldn't be able to get financials, so.
What is the board suggesting?
Move it to the third Tuesday, just for those two meetings.
Well, it's typically the third Tuesday, but there had been a request made in previous years that those be shifted upwards for the holidays, but we could shift them back. That was done years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I want financials, to be completed. So I think we've really got to look at moving that back to the third Tuesday.
So are you suggesting for just those two?
Just those two
or all?
Meetings.
Does anyone have a calendar to look at those dates?
Oh, just
That third Tuesday in November, is that Thanksgiving week?
Yes, Thanksgiving is the 21st.
Yep.
Oh, but, let me see, let me make sure. No, it's the
No, it's the
28th.
28th.
Never mind. Yeah, we're good.
It's my niece's birthday, 28th.
December 17th.
It would be the 19th.
19th and
17th.
17th, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So we put a
19th
week,
is just
November 19th,
And December 17th.
but wait, is that the week of Thanksgiving?
No, ma'am.
No.
No, okay, so November 19th would be the third Tuesday
Yes.
and would allow enough time.
I think so, yeah.
Is the board agreeable to November 19th? And we'll change that from second Tuesday to third Tuesday for the November meeting. Okay, I see heads nodding, so the board is in agreement on that November 19th date. What about December 10th?
December the 17th.
The 17th.
Change it to the 17th.
Let's scoot over here and look at your calendar.
The 17th it would be.
That should give us enough time, I'm guessing. Does that sound appropriate, board members?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that we can adjust these dates as we need to.
Right.
We've already had adjustments based on weather, so that proposed date for December is the 19th. It is the third Tuesday.
Is it the,
November 19th, December 17th.
yeah, I believe it is.
17th.
Yes, November
I'm
19th
sorry,
and
is
December
it the 19th
17th.
or the 17th?
The 19th in November.
Is the 19th and the 17th
Is
is December.
December,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Kendra, would you please read the proposed dates with the revisions for us one more time?
That would be January 23rd, March 19th, May 21st, July 16th, September 17th, November 19th, December 17th.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I move we accept the dates that were read out.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the proposed dates for the 2024 regular meetings. Are you ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. So our next meeting, regularly scheduled, is March 19th here at Westside. At this time, hearing no further business, I thank you, board members, for your time. This meeting is adjourned.